Assalamualaikum Doctor, my name is Athirah Binti Abdul Rahman and my matric number is 2417628. I am from group 9. Will be presenting about introduction and historical background of fiqh in the period of prominent scholars. Today, I will explain how Islamic law or fiqh developed in the early centuries of Islam and how this process eventually led to the establishment of the four Sunni madhab, which are Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali. In the earliest period of Islamic history, fiqh was not organized around named schools or individual imams. Instead, legal practice was shaped mainly by regional scholarly traditions. Muslims generally followed the fiqh of their own cities because each city had its own circle of scholars, teaching methods, and collections of hadith. For example, the people of Kufa relied heavily on the reasoning developed by Kufan scholars, while the people of Medina followed legal practices closely connected to the lived traditions of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ city. This shows that early fiqh was fundamentally regional long before it became associated with particular individuals or madhab. As Islamic society expanded and intellectual life became more complex, this regional pattern began to change. During the second and third Islamic centuries, certain jurists gained strong reputations for their legal knowledge, reasoning skills, and teaching abilities. Through their authority and leadership, they attracted students who preserved and transmitted their ideas. Gradually, legal traditions shifted from being city-based to being centered on individual scholars. However, it is important to note that this madhab did not fully form during the lifetimes of their founding imams. These four imams, each of them contributed important legal ideas, but the systematic organization of their schools occurred mainly through their students and later generations. These followers compiled legal opinions, wrote commentaries, and established teaching networks that transformed individual juristic methods into stable legal traditions. This period was also marked by major intellectual debates within Sunni Islam, especially between Ahli al-Hadith, who emphasized strict reliance on Hadith, and Ahli al-Ra'yi, who gave greater space to reasoning and analogy. One of the most decisive moments in this debate was the Mihnah, which means trial or test. As Doctor has mentioned in class, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal became a central figure during this time because of his refusal to accept the Mu'tazilah doctrine that said that the Quran was created. Despite imprisonment and physical hardship, he remained firm in his conviction, choosing personal suffering over compromising his belief. His moral resilience deeply impressed both scholars and the wider community, strengthening the authority of traditionalist approach in Sunni law. As a result, the Mihnah reinforced the role of hadith-based reasoning in fiqh and shaped the future direction of the Hanbali school. At the same time, the development of each madhab was shaped not only by legal texts, but also by psychological patterns of learning and reasoning, political conditions, social relationship, and local cultural practices that characterized the scholarly environment of the early Islamic centuries. From a psychological perspective, the transmission of fiqh relied heavily on social learning as students observed, imitated, and internalized the methods of respected teachers through long-term companionship and disciplined study. Cognitive processes such as reasoning, categorization, and pattern recognition enabled scholars to systemize large bodies of legal material into coherent principles. Socially, a shared scholarly identity strengthened commitment to a madhab, while politically and culturally, stability and patronage allowed certain schools to expand more widely than the others. By the 10th century, four Sunni madhab had become firmly established. Other schools, such as the Zahiri and Jariri, gradually disappeared. Their decline is often explained by weaker institutional support or by legal approach that did not balance textual authority and reason in ways that met the needs of the broader Muslim community. In conclusion, the survival of the four Sunni madhab reflects a long historical process in which Islamic law developed through debate, adaptation, and education. Sunni fiqh came to value both faithfulness to revelation and reasoned interpretation, allowing it to remain stable yet flexible across centuries. This balance is what enabled the four madhab to endure as the foundations of Sunni Islamic legal traditions. That's all from me. Thank you.